welcome back to the Ming & Moto Show, you guys. How y'all doing today? So one thing that's irritates the shit out of me, that's been going on for years, is that people are saying that video games are bad, and they want to blame video games for they want to blame video games for violence. They want to blame video games for people doing bad things and all this shit, right? Well, let me tell you, I've played video games when I was younger. I've played Grand Theft Auto 5, I've played Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I've played supercross, like dirt bike games, off-road games, all this shit, right? But yeah, I'm not out here doing anything that has to do with any of those games other than riding dirt bikes. I ride dirt bikes because I've been riding dirt bikes for 20 years, right? And that got me into playing the off-road games like MX versus ATV and some GNCC racing games and shit like that, right? But none of the games that I played, like Grand Theft Auto Vice City or GTA 5, none of those games made me violent. So honestly, I believe that video games do help release depression, release anxiety, and helps people with anger release some of their anger. Because if you think about it, if there's a kid sitting there upset about something and he or she has no way to express their anger, nobody wants to listen to them, they're full of anxiety and depression and all this other shit, right? But yet and nobody wants to listen to them, then what are they supposed to do? Of course, some kid might go off and do harm to somebody or other people, or school shootings and all this shit, right? But yet they keep wanting to make the excuse that it's because of the video games. Well, why would you say that's the video game's fault? Maybe they're upset because they're getting bullied in school. Maybe they're upset because mom and dad are going through a divorce, or their parents are always fighting, or maybe they just don't have a good home life. They're always hungry, never have any money. They're always, don't have clean clothes half the time. It's easy to blame something stupid like video games. It's not easy to try to talk to the kid. So I guess that's just an scapegoat and an excuse to blame for the kid's actions. Like I said, I didn't have a perfect home life growing up. My mom and dad never got married, and I never, my parents broke up when I was like a year or two old, so I don't remember them ever living together, and yeah, my mom's house wasn't in the best living condition, and I lived with her until I was like 6 or 7 years old. Then I lived with my dad and my grandparents after that until I was 21-ish. And I was working, making my own money, paying for my own shit, 'Cause I started working when I was 14. You know, I wanted to work. I wanted to have my own money. I didn't want to be asking people for money. There was things I wanted in my life. And I also had a truck and a dirt bike that I had to pay for and take care of. And yeah, I did get help from my grandparents, you know, when I needed it, because that's what family does. But because of that reason, I never went off on anybody. I never wanted to hurt anybody because of it. I never wanted to injure, maim, or kill anybody for it, because it's nobody's fault. You know, my parents aren't perfect, but I'm not mad at them for it. And like I said, I did play some violent video games, like even some of the war games, like Call of Duty and all those other war games, and like I said, Grand Theft Auto and MX versus ATV and whatever. But that shit never made me into a violent person, ever. So it's not the video games that's the problem. Because I even posted, I think, something in my Instagram saying, blaming people's, you know, blaming gun violence on video games is like blaming car accidents on Hot Wheels cars, you know, or blaming a DUI suspect that killed a family of 6 on the car. It's not the car's fault. It's the dumbass that decided to get behind the wheel of the car drunk after drinking. So, you know, don't blame the inanimate objects. Now, I'm sure that there's probably 1 or 2 kids that went on a fucking rampage after playing Grand Theft Auto or war games or whatever. I'm sure there's those 1 or 2 that, you know, that where that is involved and was the reason, but 99.9% of the time, it is not the video games, it's not the cars, it's not the gun, it's the person and the person's mindset. If the person's gonna do something, you know, they're gonna do it no matter what. Okay? It doesn't matter what they did, or what they were playing, or what they were driving, or what they were using. It's the mentality of the person themselves, and that's it. That's all it is the person's mindset. Not the video games, not the cars, not the guns, not the alcohol. It's the person. You know what I'm saying? And I understand if a person didn't get behind the wheel of the car drunk, it would have never happened. But again, it's not the alcohol's fault, because of the fact that the alcohol didn't put itself into the person's body. It didn't tell the person to get behind the wheel, and it didn't tell the person to all this shit. So stop blaming fucking inanimate objects for people's actions, and people need to quit claiming freaking mental disorders because they went and murdered somebody. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they knew exactly what their plans were, and they still went and did it, and they're not mental because of it. So quit allowing people to claim mentally disabled. That's my opinion. Let me know what y'all think down in the description below, and I'll catch you guys later.